old life was one where I spent a number of years in the corporate environment and rising through the ranks as a manager in middle management, and then got to a point where I realized I was slowly killing myself by eating the wrong foods, drinking the wrong things, and just have a lot of bad habits in my life that were just taking my health and even my mental health down the wrong path. Yeah. And so I realized that one day I just had to, here I was thinking I was a smart guy, but I was doing stupid things. And so I had to stop doing those stupid things and learn something new, and just stumbled across a hypnotherapy course and thought, well, what have I got to lose? Give it a go. Yeah. And I mean, that was the first little snowball that started rolling down the hill. And many years later, I've now trained over 6,000 people around Australia. I run Australian Success Academy with my beautiful...
6,000 people?
Yeah.
Wow.
Run Australian Success Academy with my beautiful wife as well. Get to live a life of design, showing people that they can achieve more, be more, and do more, just by understanding how their own mindset works and how they can be more influential in their own life. And then once they can, start to create changes in their own life, then show others how they can do the same thing as well. Yeah, it's a really good question, because so often people do have these misconceptions, and really hypnosis, it's like a natural state that we all fall in and out of every day of our lives. One really good, similarity is like daydreaming. Anytime you've been daydreaming, you've been in a state of hypnosis. And so while some people see it on TV and movies and are a little bit concerned by that, about a hypnotist having special powers over, their subjects or something like that, really the state of hypnosis is very natural. It's very just a deep state of relaxation, like daydreaming. And so it is something that every single person goes in and out of every single day. Even if you're driving a car and you can't remember the last 10 minutes whilst you've been driving, you're in a state of hypnosis then. If you're listening to the radio and you sort of zone out for a little bit, again, you're in a state of hypnosis. What we do is we show people how to use that state for a strategic purpose, and how they can start to, influence decisions, mindset, whilst using that particular state, because that state allows us to really connect with a deeper part of ourselves called our unconscious minds. It's like when you watch a movie, it's not really happening there in front of you. These are just actors, but as long as you suspend your disbelief, as long as you're able to get lost in that story, then you'll feel like what's happening in front of you is actually happening in front of you. And so if there's a sad scene, you may feel sad as a result of it. And that's one of the, the underlying principles of why hypnosis works, is because that movie that takes place under hypnosis and using hypnotherapy is all taking place in your mind. And as long as you switch off your disbelief, as long as you allow that story to continue, then you'll feel like you're actually going on this particular journey. Despite the fact that what a lot of TV shows will show and movies will depict as well, and as I'm sure you're aware and everyone else is aware, is that TV and movies are not the greatest depiction of what reality has to offer. And so there are some people out there that would like you to think that they have a special power. They're like, no, I do have a special power, because it increases their prestige and it adds to their showmanship as well. But every hypnotherapist or anyone that is involved in hypnosis does truly know that it's the client that has all the control. It's the client that allows the suggestions to take hold. It's the client that chooses to close their eyes. It's the client that chooses to relax. It's kind of like saying, can someone force you to relax? Not really. You're always in control of being able to choose to relax, or you go, you know what, I'm not going to relax. I'm going to stay in a tense, state, whatever it might be. In terms of having control, it depends on your definition of control. And the reason I say that is because I'm very particular about the words I use. And any communication that you have with someone has an influence. It's like if you're reading a bedtime story to a child, that's the same sort of control that you have. As a hypnotherapist, you are just delivering a story to somebody and you are influencing them through that story. Of course, like a child, if the child is listening to a story and doesn't like that story, they're going to go, no, I don't like that story. Can you stop telling me? As with the client, if the client is hearing a story or hearing some sort of message and they don't like it, they'll come out of hypnosis and go, why are you telling me that? Don't tell me that. I'm out of here. And so the client is the one that ultimately has all the control and can choose whether it's going to work for them or it's not going to work for them. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you see those stage shows, that's all done for comedic purposes. And people know what to expect when they go to those shows. Then the hypnotist will ask people to volunteer. People put their hand in the air. Those people already know what's expected of them. They know they're going to go on stage and do some crazy things. So it doesn't conflict their morals, their values, or their ethics. And then when they get up on stage, the hypnotist uses a number of techniques to almost get people to do certain things, just small suggestions, like maybe close your eyes, watching to see who closes their eyes first. The people that second guess him, he'll send them back to their seat. And so he whittles down the number of people that are on stage to the select few people that are willing to follow his instructions implicitly, that want to have fun, that are going to play full out, and they know what's expected of them. And then all you need to do is ask them to dance around like a chicken, and they'll most likely do it. Anybody can be hypnotized. What a lot of the studies have discovered, though, is that some people are highly susceptible and others maybe normally susceptible. And there's a part of our brain that they've found in clients that are highly susceptible, that they have an enlarged part of that brain that what they're suggesting is a correlation between being highly susceptible. But it's kind of like, can anybody relax? Can anybody daydream? If you don't have any troubles daydreaming, or you have any troubles relaxing, I'd say you could be hypnotized. And if you have trouble daydreaming and have trouble relaxing, it just means maybe you need to get better at it. Yeah, again, it's kind of like saying, can anyone relax against their will? Can they daydream against their will? And so generally not. Despite, again, what you may have seen on TV and videos and all that sort of thing, there's a Hollywood sort of feel to it that, they like you to think that some people can be hypnotized against their will. But again, it's the client that has the control. If the client doesn't want to be hypnotized, they won't be hypnotized. I've had other hypnotherapists and other people that know hypnosis come up to me and try to rapidly induce me into hypnosis. They've tried a handshake induction, or they've tried to use my own skills back on me, and it doesn't work unless I want it to work. And so for the people that I know that they're trying to use it for their own purposes, when they come up and try and give me a handshake and they try and take me to a deep state of trance, I don't let it happen. Yeah, I mean, it's really hypnosis. It improves somebody's mindset. And so you really need to start to consider what problems or what challenges or what lifestyle conditions can a mindset improve. And I think you'd probably agree that it's almost every aspect of life can be improved with mindset. So for example, your health, whether it be your physical health, if your mindset's not right, well then maybe you don't believe that you can get healthier. Maybe you don't believe that you like certain foods that are probably good for you, but you don't like the taste of them. And so there's all these aspects of health, and a lot of people have heard of donating or weight loss through hypnosis, what I usually call donating kilograms back to the universe. You can quit smoking through hypnosis. You can reduce long-term pain. You can improve confidence. You can improve your relationship. You can improve your relationship with money. And so therefore your financial position can improve as well. And so hypnosis, whilst it is working with a mindset, there's a lot of studies that have demonstrated there is a connection between mindset or belief and biology. And so even almost like physical challenges. I've had probably 3 or 4 women that come to mind that are in their late 50s that have used hypnosis to improve their eyesight. And they've gone to the optometrist, and the optometrist is like, this is a miracle. Like you don't need the same prescription glasses anymore. And so almost like some of those physical traits of people's bodies can start to improve and shift by using things like hypnosis and changing their mindset. And you're right, so often most people want to change certain things in their life. There's certain things they're trying to change, and I'd say most of the population tries to do it using willpower. Yeah. They're like, no, I shouldn't eat that cake, but I really want to. No, but I shouldn't. Or I really should study more, but I can't be bothered. Or I should get out of the couch, but no, there's my favorite show on. And there's all this willpower that people use. And yes, you can get results using willpower. But as you said, using hypnosis, that taps into your imagination, that part of you that just does things without you even knowing that you're doing it. And so those changes that we want to make, when you strategically use hypnosis to implant those changes, then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're out there doing all the things you wanted to, and you didn't even remember doing it. It just becomes effortless for you. And so it just makes life so much easier rather than having to consciously use willpower and feel like there's effort involved. I've had a lot of people come through our courses that have had depression, chronic depression, long-term depression. We've had people that have had a lot of anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder. We've had a number of people from the military come through the courses. And just to see the changes that they have been able to take themselves through once they've understood the tools, and more so about when they've understood how their own mind works. And that's kind of like the reason I love these tools so much is because it's kind of like the instruction manual for your mind. It's kind of like no one ever gave you that. We didn't learn it through school or anything like that. And then hopefully you come to a course where you learn it and you go, oh, okay, so now I actually am the master of my destiny in terms of my mindset and what I want to focus on. So we've had a huge number of people that have come through the courses that no longer have depression, that left the courses and then spoke to their doctor about weaning themselves off their medication, no longer taking medication. I've had people that had, one gentleman had so I guess his post-traumatic stress disorder was so intense that he always had to have his back to the wall, hyper-vigilant, and then within about 2 days, he was then quite happy to sit with his back to the crowd and went out to restaurants and just significantly changed his life. Yeah, and just the flow-on effect of that as well. I mean, that's the conscious changes that people are aware of. And then it starts to change how they perform in their relationship. So now they no longer have depression. All of a sudden their relationship improves as well, and then their health improves in other areas, and then their financial position improves because they realize, hang on, I don't need to go see that psychiatrist, that psychologist anymore. I don't have a problem anymore. And so it's amazing to hear just how many people have come to our course that had spent years going to see other professionals. And look, I guess, my best interest is to show people how they can learn these tools and go away and fix themselves. Go away. It's not me that fixes them. I don't have some special wand where I make their problems disappear, and I don't want people to feel like they have to keep coming back to me either. All I want to do is show people these amazing tools, show them how that they can tap into this power within themselves, that they can then change it, go away and be their own life coach, be their own therapist, be their own health professional, because yes, they're going to learn to deal with the problems they've got right now and overcome them. And then maybe 10 years from now, something else is going to pop up, but they'll already have those skills to know how to deal with it again. So yeah, I've seen a number of people that have had depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, whole range of concerns that within a few days, no longer have them anymore.
What, 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Yeah, like she was holding him in her hand.
Yeah, holding the needle and to know that fear had almost put her life at threat because she would never go get shots, she'd never get blood tests. There was one point where she was telling us that she was so sick that she refused to go to the doctor because she didn't want to get blood tests or anything. I mean, and to just know that, that was a problem with her mindset. She had this belief that she had a fear of needles. And as you saw, to show someone that you can change that. You don't need to have that fear. You don't need to have this programming that it's a dysfunctional programming that you've just picked up for some reason. Why let that impact your life? Why let that impact your health when in 15 minutes it's gone, it's done? You do. You're right in terms of, and that's I guess the higher concept of what we teach is that anything that you have learned to do, you can unlearn as well. And we're all sort of born pretty much a blank slate, and so we learn certain behaviours. We pick them up from our parents, we pick them up from our our environment, and then if you've gone through the military, well, obviously you've been programmed with a certain program, and then you may get to a point where that program no longer serves you. But as you're saying, how do you then unprogram that? And that's what some of these tools allow you to do, is you can unprogram or install better programs or more desirable programs that are going to work better for you. And some of them may work for you, and so you keep those ones that do, and you just uninstall the ones that no longer work for you and install better ones.
Yeah.
And for people like that, and I totally appreciate it, especially for a masculine energy, it's almost like another barrier to going, well, no, I need to be able to fight through this and deal with it myself. And what I'd say to people that are maybe fighting with that challenge is don't come and do it for yourself. Then come and do it for the people around you. And who knows, a secondary benefit might be you just learn how to do it for yourself anyway. Good question. So hypnosis, the way it works, I mean, hypnosis is just a state. It's just a state of relaxation. And what that does is it switches off the conscious mind, or the part of us that, like, we know what we're doing at this current time, the things where we think about certain things, or we have this internal monologue going through. That's kind of our conscious mind. And then when we fall into a state of hypnosis, or we go into a state of hypnosis, that part of our brain switches off a little bit. It can still be there, but it generally switches off, or it just gets distracted by something else. And then the part of our brain that becomes more receptive is our unconscious mind, or our subconscious mind. And that's the part of us that does the things that we do without us even knowing that we're doing it. When we scratch our nose, we don't even know we're scratching our nose. When we just all of a sudden find out that we're eating the Mars bar, and we didn't know we were going to be eating the Mars bar. So all those habits that just happen that we do frequently, time and time again. And so the reason why hypnosis works is, if it's hypnotherapy, I mean, that's kind of hypnosis. Hypnosis is a state. Hypnotherapy is where you have somebody, whether it be yourself, it can be self-hypnosis, or it can be with a guided or with a hypnotherapist, where they actually strategically give you suggestions. They may tell you a story that has some unconscious transformation embedded within it as well. And what that does, it allows the unconscious mind, that part of you that's kind of just does its thing because it, without you being consciously aware of it, it influences that part of you. It influences that part as long as, like I said, that you are, as a client, that you're willing to accept those suggestions, that it doesn't conflict your morals, your values, or your ethics, that you're willing to take part in that process. Then what will happen is that unconscious part of you will start to become influenced by these suggestions to a point where your behavior will start to change. You can sort of get into the science in terms of the brainwave patterns change as well. And so you fall into just a deeper, relaxed state where you become more susceptible to suggestions, whether those suggestions are given from yourself, which would be self-hypnosis, or those suggestions are coming from somebody else. So you're just putting yourself into a highly suggestible state, really. The session will take as long as the client expects it to take within reason. And the reason I say that, and it might sound like I'm trying to avoid the question a little bit, is because with the right client, I can help them quit smoking in about 10 minutes. However, some clients pay for an hour. And so you help them quit smoking in 10 minutes, and then you do some further work to them. So then, I mean, the question would be, at what point did they get the change? They leave an hour later and they're no longer a smoker. But I know, as the skilled practitioner, that I can see that change that's taken place after about 10 minutes. It's then just about helping them realize that a change has taken place. When I say helping them realize it, it's because unconsciously the change has taken place. Consciously, they need to catch up to it. And I describe that as the captain versus crew. We have this unconscious mind, which is the crew to a ship, and we have the conscious mind, which is the captain. And if the captain and the crew are working together, well, then the crew will follow the captain's orders. But when we have a problem, much like smoking, if we have a problem we want to stop, it's because our crew continue to smoke, but the captain wants the crew to stop smoking. The captain's like, no, crew, stop smoking. The crew's like, no, bugger it, we like smoking, so we need to keep doing it. And so that's when you get mutiny happening. And so the crew are the ones that are in control of the ship. It's not the captain anymore. And so that's why that person continues to smoke. And so when we do this change work on people, we're working with the crew. We're helping the crew become non-smokers. Sometimes the captain can disbelieve it for a small period of time. He's like, hang on, crew, are you sure? You sure you don't want to smoke anymore? But you've smoked for the last 30 years. What do you mean? Like, it's only been 10 minutes. And so it's about just helping the captain or their conscious mind of the client start to catch up and integrate. They won't do anything they don't want to do. Would they do anything they wouldn't normally do? I mean, look, I've done some weird things under hypnosis that I wouldn't normally do because I've agreed to do that. And so it's not what I describe as normal, but I was always in control. So I guess I would probably suggest that people are always in control. So you're not going to do anything abnormal unless you choose to do something abnormal.
So you're not going to be able to make people bark like a dog, or
no, not unless they want to.
Yeah.
Not unless they want to. And I don't really go down the path of the comedic hypnosis. I mean, I'm more about helping people transform their life. But look, if I, like, for example, if I hypnotize you and I ask you to bark like a dog, you're not going to bark like a dog unless you want to. In which case, I wouldn't even need to hypnotize you to do that. I could just ask you to bark like a dog and you'd probably do it.
Well,
There you go. So yeah, no one can make you do anything you don't want to do. There's a whole heap of different treatments, and it's about finding the thing that works for you. And what I'd say to you is, I mean, I can sometimes come across a little bit critical of other professions, because for me, I sort of stumbled into this, and I stumbled into it because I wanted to solve my own problems. I was, as I said, slowly killing myself, doing some things that I shouldn't have been doing, and I learned to change that, and I became passionate about going, you know what, more people need to know this stuff. More people need to realize that there are some simple tools out there that can change some pretty complex problems, but really quickly. And I found there weren't many people out there that were showing people how simple these tools could be. And those that were, there was something about them that I just didn't connect with. And so I just decided that, Jess and I, we want to make it more accessible for people. Why is it more effective than other tools? It's more effective for me. It's more effective for thousands of people that I've trained it to as well. And what I'd say to you is, if you are using something right now and you haven't got a result, and you've been using it for a month or 2 months, now even that means you've been seeing someone, then maybe open up your mind to the possibility that look at something different. I'm not saying stop what you're doing. Like if it's helping you in some area, then okay. Like I've known people who've gone to certain professionals and that have for years, and look, I think if you are going to a professional for years with some sort of mindset challenge, whether it be depression or anxiety or something else like that, or a fear, then I'm not suggesting stop that straight away, but what I would suggest is consider something different as well as an alternative and see if it's going to work better for you. If my experience has taught me anything, is that for almost like 99% of people, it works so much better for them. Hypnosis, the great thing about it is that it's empowering you, it's empowering the person. It's not having to come back, or especially the way I teach it anyway. I mean, I don't consider myself a hypnotherapist. I'm just someone that trains people in hypnotherapy. And because I want people to walk away as their own hypnotherapist, I want them to walk away empowered rather than feel like they have to keep coming back to me. Look, if you want to keep coming back to me, okay, that's your call, but that's not my business model. It's not what I'm passionate about doing. And yes, there are some professionals out there whose business model relies on you needing them for an extended period of time. And when there's business models like that, and there's professionals out there like that, look, they're doing the best they can with the resources they have. And I've had a lot of people that have gone through university to come to our course, and they're like, I can't believe that we didn't learn this in university. Here I am, I'm a professional. I've been a professional helping people in mental health for 20 years, and why don't I know this stuff? Well, how come I had to wait till I came to your course, Shane, before I learned this stuff? I feel like I got ripped off at uni. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, but at least you know it now. And I sort of describe it as what we teach is practical psychology. It's the stuff that you need to know to get a result in your own life and with someone sitting across from you straight away. If you go study psychology, there's a whole heap of theories and statistics and those sorts of things that they're interesting to know, but it's not practical. It's not practical. What do I need to do today to help my client or help this person overcome depression? That's what I want to know, and that's the sort of stuff that we teach. Yeah, look, what I'd say is probably two things. One is to open up your mind to a different possibility. Despite what you've been told by other professionals, despite what you've been brought up to believe, despite what maybe you've been programmed with, start to consider that maybe there's something out there that you're yet to find out about that could make your life easier. And by having that open mind about something new and of that possibility, you then create a space to find that thing. And whether that's through hypnosis or something else, whatever it might be, it's just starting to consider that maybe there's an easier way to live my life, and maybe I can overcome these, even if I've had these problems for 30 years, even if I've had these problems for 40 years, 50 years, however long, even if it's a massive problem, maybe there is a way for you to learn how to let that problem go and then move on with the rest of your life. And so I'd say step into that space of possibility. The second thing I'd say is just to accept personal responsibility, which is if you don't take action to go and find the solutions, if you don't take action to start to change your own mindset, then who else is going to do it for you? Like, no one really is. I mean, yes, someone could probably drag you kicking and screaming through life, but you're not going to enjoy that life. And it's going to be a very long journey to try and get to your destination, which is for you to have an amazing life, really. That's what everyone wants. And so when you take on that personal responsibility, you realize, you know what? It's up to me. I can't sit back and wait for, a big bag of gold to drop out of the sky. I can't wait for just someone to hit me on the head with a magic wand and make my emotions get better. It's about you having to take personal responsibility and say, you know what? I can't sit there and blame other things. Yeah, stuff has happened to me, and stuff happens to everyone. Yeah, admittedly, big stuff happens to some people, and some people get through okay through life a little, relatively unscathed. But I haven't met anyone that's had a perfect childhood, and I haven't met anyone that's had almost like a perfect adulthood either. Stuff happens to us. It's really about what do we do with that stuff, or what meaning do we give to it? Does that mean that we're broken? Or does that mean that this is just a challenge for us to learn to overcome? You look at sort of Hollywood movies, and the most compelling stories are the stories where the hero or the main character has faced adversity, huge adversity, but then learned to overcome it. And maybe that's what is happening for a lot of us, is that we're just facing our biggest hurdle right now, that this is going to be the most compelling chapter in our memoirs, 10 years from now. And so if we just keep focused on the fact that it's up to us to take responsibility to change our life. It's up to us to change our mindset, because the alternative is this: you blame other things. It's not me, it's this. It's not me, it's that. And therefore you give the power away to that other thing, and you sit back and you wait for that other thing to change. You blame your partner, you blame the government, you blame whatever it is, and you just sit back and you wait for those other things that you blame to change. And sometimes those things don't change. And so you just sit in a state of discomfort, pain, anguish, and it's not a nice place to be. And so the fastest way to break through the things that are holding people back is to accept personal responsibility and just know, you know what, it's up to me. I need to do it. I may not know how yet, and that's okay. It's not about knowing how. It's just about knowing that you need to go and find how. Or you need to go find someone that knows how. And you need to invest in your time and possibly money, whatever it might be, to make the solution work for you as well. And even when some people think, but you're not a tough case. I'm a tough case. But you don't understand. I've got a big problem. What I'd say to bring your big problem along. Bring your big problem. Bring it along, and just give it an opportunity and see what happens. And I'm sure you will leave, and that big problem will no longer be there anymore.
Shane, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thanks, Brent. Thanks for having me.
No worries.